So today's lunch is going to be a meat and cheese sandwich on an English muffin for one child, an English muffin buttered for the other, and the soup, oops, I'll turn on the light here. There we go. The soup I made yesterday with those little tortellini looking bunches of pasta. I'm going to put them in a thermos, getting that preheated. So I'm finishing up this thing of 3-meat deli meat package. It was like a sub package I had in the fridge. So I'm just going to put that back in the container. Since the container's not dirty, just had deli meat in it. I'll send that one off to school for my youngest. And I just put the English muffin with butter in the container. The other one is going to be for me for breakfast. So far my kids' lunch is, I'm going to give them 2 yogurt tubes because they usually don't have time to eat breakfast, and they eat breakfast right when they get to school in the first period. A pouch of apple cherry, and the cranberry orange loaf I gave them on Monday. They didn't finish it because they know that they're supposed to eat all their fresh food first before they eat the treats or the stuff in the pouch. So one child didn't eat their cranberry loaf in their pouch, and the other child didn't finish their loaf. So I'm going to give it to them back in a new pouch. They did eat their pouch. And their sandwich or English muffin. And today we're going to have a container of peaches to switch it up. Tomorrow we'll have apples again because I still have a bunch of fresh apples that need to be eaten up. And my kids only like the fresh apples when they're sliced up and with cinnamon. If I just have them sliced up, they turn brown and they don't like looking at them turning brown or whatever. So I just sprinkle some cinnamon on them. I don't put sugar, just cinnamon. And now, let me see if the soup's hot. Yeah. The soup is hot enough now. I'm going to dish out soup. It's quite thick, so my kids will like that. It's cold today, and actually it's warmer today than it was yesterday. Yesterday we got snow. We got about 4 inches of snow, and now we have some freezing rain going on. And there you go. I'll put lids on and put them in their lunch. Actually, my youngest just got up, and there's enough time before school, and she wants to eat some soup for breakfast. I want breakfast. There you go. So for my lunch today, I'm going to have the other half of the squash that I made the other day, 2 of the Jamaican patties that I made a while ago that I froze the leftovers, and leftover rice from yesterday, which a little bit of butter. I'll have that and see how hungry I am if I have anything more. I still have 1 more Jamaican patty already made, plus a container of filling that I can make more already frozen. So that's my lunch. So for supper tonight, we're going to have baked potatoes and sausages. So what you have to do, you have to stab your potatoes so that steam can escape. And I do it in the microwave because it's quicker. And I'm doing 8 potatoes. Even though my family's a family of 4, Some of my family members might like 2 potatoes. My husband usually likes 2 potatoes, and sometimes my youngest daughter or my oldest daughter will like 2 potatoes. I usually just do 1 potato because I don't need the extra carbs. But my girls are active, and my youngest actually is in the wrestling team, so she could use the extra carbs, and she had wrestling today, so I stab them and then I'll do the other side as well. So then I'll put this into the microwave. I'll start for 10 minutes and turn them and do another 10 minutes until they're done. The more potatoes you have, the more time it takes. You could also just put them in your oven as well, but since I'm not planning on using my oven right now, I don't need to turn it on. Next, I'm going to do some cheesy broccoli, which I'm just going to cut the broccoli up, and the stems I'm going to remove and put into a baggie for the freezer so that I can have these in the freezer to make cream of broccoli soup with. Once I have a few of these, I will use them in a cream of broccoli soup with a few of the flowerets, so you're not wasting half of your vegetables. It's a great way to use all the vegetables because I find that the stalks are very tough and my family don't like eating them. But if I cook it up in a soup and I puree it, there's more chance of them getting eaten. So first I'm going to saute some onions because my husband and I and my oldest like onions, my youngest doesn't. And then I'm going to saute him some mushrooms because he's the only one that likes mushrooms. So I get that out. Just finished off my oil. I have another one in the pantry, so I'm all good. Whenever I finish one, I go and check to see when it's on sale. Again, I get 3 liters of vegetable oil for $3.99 on sale most times. I never pay more than $3.99. My onions and get that going. There we go. I'm just gonna chop it up. Starting to brown a little bit. I like to add a little bit of water to help saute them without necessarily adding more oil. And I turn on my broccoli here. Right now the pan is dry, well it's wet from being washed, and I'm just going to add some water to help steam / saute the broccoli because I don't really need to add butter or that, because what I'm going to be doing with that is the other day on my pantry challenge I made tortellini with a cheese sauce. Well, I have some leftover cheese sauce that I took out from the freezer, and I'm going to have that on the broccoli. So once the onions are cooked, I will remove them and I'll throw in the mushrooms. And here's the onions almost fully cooked. I'll let them brown a tiny bit more. So now I'll add a bit more oil because I removed the onions. And I'll put the mushrooms, which I did rinse. You can see the water coming out. And there's the cooked onions. And again, I also add some water to the mushrooms to help them cook faster, and so we don't need to keep on adding oil or butter. Now, tomorrow or the next day, tomorrow I think I'm going to cook the black beans, as I'm going to put some black beans, not measuring, about 1/3 of the jar, and then I'm going to fill it up with water and soak overnight. And I just filled it up with water, and this is how I store my black beans, in an old pickle jar. It's the right size for 2 pounds of beans, so I don't buy the really big bags because they're just not really available where I shop. I might get a 5-pound bag if it's on sale, but usually 2 pounds is what I get. And the broccoli is starting to bubble in the steam here, and the mushrooms are cooking. I'm just going to put a lid on it to help it cook, and I don't want to cook it too much, but to the like al dente, a little bit more done, because my family doesn't really like it crunchy. We either like it cooked or raw, but not mushy. And then the mushrooms are getting cooked here. I'll stir them around some more. Now I'm going to scoop these out into a bowl for my husband. I'm going to try and, if there's any juices left, I'm going to try and keep those in. I'm going to be putting the sausages in this pan next. So, even though my girls and I don't like mushrooms, but my husband does, it's a texture thing. It's not really a flavor thing. I just don't like the texture in my mouth. Here are the sausages I showed earlier. There was a save a couple dollar coupon on here, so I'm unsure exactly how much they were. Probably about $3 or $4, and then $1 or $2 off. So I only paid a couple dollars for these. And again, I'm going to go put some water in the pan to saute these. Pour some water, and then I'll put a lid on them and get them to cook a bit. And then I will flip them. So I just put the pan lid on. I do this because the sausages have a lot of fat in them, so I let them steam a bit, and then near the end I'll put a little bit of oil in so that they can get nice brown color. And here's the broccoli. It's almost done. It's still a bit too hard yet. So now that there's still some water in the pan, not much, I'm going to add some of the cheese sauce that I had made. I'm just going to put this on top. Not the whole thing, because that's a lot of cheese sauce and not a lot of broccoli, so probably about half the container. And then I'm going to stir this around. I'm just doing this because I had extra cheese sauce and I couldn't really think what else to make with it. But we like to have just regular cheese shredded on the broccoli, or make it as a broccoli casserole with bacon bits and some cheese, or that. Or sometimes just plain broccoli. Actually, my family really likes just cut up veggies and dip. So usually hummus or jalapeno dip, or those Philadelphia cream cheese dips, or just sour cream mixed with onion soup packet. That's our go-to cheap dip. So now the cheese sauce is melted, and I think I'm just going to turn this off and put a lid on it and keep it warm while the sausages cook. So now we'll go back to the sausages, and I've seen them cooking on one side, so now I'm going to flip them. Which is really hard to do one-handed for some reason, even though I don't necessarily use two hands, but I think it's me using the camera to look at what I'm doing, which is the difficult part. There we go. Put the bowl over. And then I'll put the lid back on. Oh yes, remember the cheese sauce? I forgot that there was bacon in it from the tortellini, so that will be nice and yummy. There's the sausages, and instead of adding oil, I collect my bacon grease from when I make bacon. I'm just going to add a little bit of that to add some yummy bacon flavor, and then it's reusing stuff I already have. I'm going to turn these guys over. And I'm just going to turn this off because they're cooked. They're just going to get a bit more brown. And here's the plate so far. The baked potato I cut up and put a little bit of butter on, some sour cream, the sauteed onions. I'm going to put a bit of green onions on top, and a scoopful of broccoli with cheese sauce. Maybe two, just because they're bigger pieces, they fall off. And then I'm going to take a sausage, and voila. So that's supper tonight. My husband's not too big on broccoli, but he might have a little bit, and then he'll have some raw cauliflower with his mushrooms. My other daughter, who doesn't like the onions, she'll have more broccoli, and that's about it. And then there should be an extra sausage in there, and at least an extra potato for everybody to have one. And I have one daughter who doesn't like the sour cream, so she'll have some shredded cheese with the onions and broccoli and sausage. It's all about making it customizable for each person. And that's about it. So have a good day.